president of Concept Schools, I welcome you to 2013 Chicago International Conference on Education.
Nothing, I believe, is more important right now than taking the steps that we can take, learning what we can do to improve education in America and around the world. I think this conference is very helpful for the educators to learn from each other about what works best in the classroom. How do we really engage students?
I found that it was hard to make a case against. In many ways, American higher education, we often assume we're leaders, but there might be leadership and innovations in other countries, and until we have conferences like this one organized by Concept, there's not an easy way to become aware of these.
It's a pleasure to be here and to talk with an international audience.
My message is that I think international audiences, international collections of educators are the most important, and that's where we should be focusing because our problems are all global.
Teachers are the key to the success of any education system, and conferences like this allow educators from around the world a platform to share, to learn, and to discuss ways to improve the education system, to improve teacher education programs.
I'm impressed that so many people have come from far-flung parts of the world to be here.
What is education's role in developing parents as mentors?
What's important is that perceptions and prejudices towards difference should...
The focus of my talk was on minority groups, marginalized groups that does not achieve in relation to the majority of school population.
So for me, student achievement includes a step before we even think about educational outcomes.
So today I was part of the first panel discussion, and we were talking about understanding the dynamics of student achievement, about how students affected by trauma, the way that that impacts on their education, and how schools can implement different approaches that help students to recover from trauma and to re-engage with school and to increase their opportunities for achievement.
Basically, what this would suggest is that best practices.
Basically, one of the things that I wanted to do with this talk was to talk about the integration of statistics, theory, and research.
I think the conference is a platform for really exchanging good ideas with regard to creating opportunities for underachievement, and sharing this knowledge base is important because the country is not isolated. There's always other people that have similar experiences, and I think we can actually learn from each other.
Our panelists today will be addressing teacher effectiveness, and while they're sharing, each of our panelists, we had 3 papers represented, and they talked about the things that they collect that impact teacher effectiveness in the classroom and to make teachers better.
Our paper focuses on the growing phenomenon and use of what is known. I think we all have a similar message. I think we all understand that the teacher effect is probably the most important thing.
I found more similarities between Chinese.
I just presented a paper entitled Chinese Teachers' Attitudes Toward Performance Evaluation Measures. I compare Chinese and American teachers' attitudes toward the measures.
Teacher effectiveness is very important. I was discussing about the factors that affect teacher effectiveness. My study was able to identify some of the factors that affect teacher effectiveness in the school.
We have this sort of idea of big data, and it's
today I presented on a panel for teacher effectiveness, and we were talking about how to create a culture related to data. So how to get teachers talking about data and using data in a way that's effective.
This should focus us on leaders' values as well as how a leader sees him or herself.
Because we are today always talking about teachers' effectiveness.
My research is only a comparative study between Turkey and USA. So I try to find what is difference and what is similarities between two countries.
The best practices start with the program leaders or the teachers or the
My panel discussion was about leadership development and ethics in our schools.
And welcome to New Era in Education, Technology and Digital Learning panel discussion.
The focus of the panel was basically on the integration of technology in the teaching and learning process, as well as the use of online learning environments, whether it's completely online, hybrid, or blended learning, and also on just the ubiquitous nature of technology in education and in society as a whole, and trying to harness that and bring it into the classroom and utilize it in K-12 learning as well as in higher education.
Game-based learning has been around for a long time in different kind of names.
I was talking about game-based learning and social media, so how to use it as a teaching and learning tool, and the different resources that are available, and some research that I've carried out on a Facebook kind of collectible card game and how it was used to support science and, in a classroom.
With a very interesting population for studying, we're going to study.
I'm here for presenting a paper around a new project that we are working on, a research project around personal learning environments.
I created a program called Inquiry-Based Science and Technology Enrichment Program for middle school female students.
So that's why our topic today is global educational opportunities in the emerging information society.
We presented our paper about global educational opportunities in the emerging information society.
So that was kind of our local perspective on a global thing, globally growing international changes.
Character is what you do when no one is watching. And how do we instill this in our children? So,
talk about character education programs. I'll start by briefly defining character education and then talk about the efficacy and best practices related to character education programs in schools.
Education is quite simply peace building by another name. It is the most.
Today I was here speaking about the role of forgiveness education as a whole school approach to bullying prevention and intervention. So I talked about how we could include forgiveness education and intervention as part of the core curriculum so that all students will receive information about forgiveness and how it could help them.
My focus in my remarks and my focus was on the place of empathy and sympathy and how these two things are really important components that need to be included in a character education program. I was really struck by the degree of similarity and how most of the sessions were peppered with allusions or mentioning of empathy, sympathy, character. It seems like it's a common or a mutual interest across the globe that is something that the humans care about.
I feel honored to present my research work in this.
Cooperative learning strategies, that is STAD and TEI, which are the learning strategies can be used for improving the learning of the students.
My subject and the title was the effectiveness of in-service training. Yeah, because we believe in service training, because we need to develop ourselves.
We're in a shrinking world, and we're all facing the same challenges. And so we have similar challenges, and I think we're all coming together to try to find out where that common ground is and where the common solutions are.
We have scholars from Spain, from Ireland, from Russia, as well as the United States. The things that are going on, for example, in Europe that we're not doing here in the United States that we can learn from and we can modify and we can then investigate and conduct studies of our own.
Well, it's a very impressive roster of speakers, participants, and attendees. It's truly an international program.
to Caitlin for her putting the kids' lives first and showing us what it really means to be a hero.
I'm honored, humbled, and grateful to be here with you this morning accepting this award. I can't tell you how much it means to me from the bottom of my heart. Thank you.
No, extremely honored, humbled. Such an honor to be here and to be accepting such a prestigious award.
I commend all of you that are involved in education wherever you come from today to continue your good work, because only through that good work can we have the world that our world is capable of being.
We would like to thank Concept Schools and the International Conference on Education for the true honor of being the journal of record for this outstanding conference.
Touching the lives of children not only affect them, but the trajectory of their descendants. So when you have an opportunity to teach one, just think of all of the lives you may touch to come after.